Alright, welcome to the first episode of the Triad. Fuck, Triad? I don't know. But anyways,
Triad.
shut up. My name's Rye,
Go.
and this is Inept. And so this is what we're just going to be talking about. Bitch, you supposed to be talking, chat. Come on now.
Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be talking. Okay. Okay. Um, More about what we're like, what we're going through and what we struggle with. Not necessarily anything too crazy. Um, we both are obviously disordered in some way, and it needs to come to light for some people, especially people who misunderstand it and demonize it. It can be a big misconception, and we're here to, I guess, try to break that misconception. And if you would like to give a rundown of your disorder, you can do that first. It's your turn. Dude, your mic cut out again, bro. Oh my god. There's no way.
Wing.
Oh my
Yo.
god.
Yo, no fucking way, dude.
I don't know what you need to do, bro, but you need to do something.
Brother, oh my god. What the fuck is up right now?
At least I'll be prepared. I don't even have like voice notes.
Can you
or
hear me?
anything.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What the fuck?!
No, I can hear you.
You can? Okay, cool. Dude, how
Yeah.
long was it cut out for? No, it's fine. You know what? We'll fix. It's my wire management. That's it. Anyways, back to what we were saying. So,
What?
did I really cut out that entire time?
Yes, dude. I literally told.
Yeah, dude. I heard
It
you. No,
was
I
so
heard you.
awkward.
Oh my fuck. Nah, we're good. We're good. We keep running it. We keep going.
Okay.
Anyways, so like you were saying, so I have NPD on some Patrick Bateman shit. Y'all feel me? Right? So, so it's just, and if y'all don't know what NPD is, it's narcissistic personality disorder. There's a lot of what?
Dude, it cut out for a second, bro.
Oh my fuck! Yo, chill. I don't know what the problem is. Can you still hear me? Wait, how much
Yeah,
did it
dude.
cut out, bro?
Like 1 second, dude.
Oh yeah, we're okay. We're about. If it cuts out for a second, don't worry about it.
Okay.
But like it majorly cuts out, let me know. Anyways, so it's narcissistic personality disorder. There's a lot of stigma behind it, and at least for me, and my goal is to find a community and cult a community that understands that it's not all negative and what everyone claims it to be, right? And what it's perceived to be by media and by everyone else online. That's essentially what my goal is and what I have and what I struggle with. So it's gonna be Inept's turn, right?
Yeah. So I have a borderline personality disorder, also known as BPD. It's a very, very stigmatized disorder, but it has been watered down pretty much by a lot of social media,
The golden child
especially
of Cluster B.
TikTok. Okay, go fuck yourself. So it's a very stigmatized disorder. Some people call it crazy, some people don't because there's so much awareness to it, but the awareness is very watered down. It's almost like princess treatment disorder, basically. Um, but as a male, it can be a lot different, and there can be a lot of traits that overlap with BPD, especially NPD as well and ASPD. But my goal is to find people who can accept me for who I am, for what I go through, and let people understand me and validate me. And I know that sounds a little awful, but it's just I really don't have much validation towards myself, so I have to get it from others.
Yeah, dude. And I think that's a big portion of a lot of Cluster B in general.
Oh yeah.
Is a big issue of lacking validation and needing that and admiring that from other people, right? It's a yearn for that same feeling, right? And I think
Yeah.
that's where a lot of cluster B comes together in a way.
Mm.
And we talked about overlapping before we started this, but there is a lot of overlapping. I think a lot of it is due with the the fact that we want to be admired and want some form of validation, right?
Yeah.
And whether we get it this way or another way, the end product is always going to be the same, the end goal, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
and I think another reason why log cluster B is linked and so overlapping is the fact that a lot of our characteristics are in general a survival instinct in the end, right?
Yes. Exactly.
And and granted, it can be it differs by a lot of people and by a lot of
It does.
disorders, and again, there's a spectrum for everything, right? You
Of
have
course.
people who you have I mean I've met diagnosed narcissists that act more like sociopaths than people who are diagnosed with ASPD, right? You have this
Yep.
huge spectrum to go through,
Oh,
and,
of course.
and I've met a lot of people with BPD who act way more narcissistic than I do, right? Even admittedly, I tend to not fully take what's the word take accountability for how narcissistic I do act at times, right?
Yeah.
Um, but in my head, I know, and I've met people that truly do act way more than, way more narcissistic than I do, and I think that's a big, another misconception is just the overlapping between
Big
everybody.
time.
And I mean, like, again, I don't fully know about you, right? And I don't know how much you overlap with each other, but if you want to talk about that, go ahead. You feel me?
It's it's complicated.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of confusion about disorders because I had told that had a lot of cluster B traits.
Mm-hmm.
Got told that I had histrionic traits. Other than that, and then I got diagnosed with
And
BPD.
so, how long was that for? How long was the not just
I'd
therapy in
say,
general, but just like the the kind of guessing game of what you had, right?
dude, almost since I was like 17 to 16, 16 to 17.
Is that when you started therapy in general, or is that just kind of when they picked it up
That
more?
was that was the guessing game. I got
Right.
in my head a lot of the times thinking like why I did the things that I did, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, I couldn't understand why I was acting the way I was acting towards people, or just some of the people who I tended to try to love in general.
Yeah.
It became very confusing for me, and they pretty much told me I was crazy, or just had this very strong feeling that I was crazy.
They,
And
as in your therapist at the time, or people in general?
the
Right.
people told me to go see a therapist, and that's what I did. And it's not them who really put that idea of being crazy in my head. I knew there was something like clearly wrong with me. I just didn't know where to go or what to do other than to just think and think about what it could be.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I thought it was like ADHD or ADD, but then again, that could be one small thing, and then, the other disorders could, you know, add on to that. And it was very confusing for me. But what I still don't understand as of right now is what more it could be, because I have traits that somewhat give off BPD but don't at the same time.
Right. Like not like in what ways? Tell me about it.
In what ways?
Yeah.
I mean, the grandiosity and lack of empathy.
Mm-hmm.
People with BPD are misconcepted to think that they are these big empaths who really deeply care for everybody, and they're overly emotional.
Do you
Um,
do you think that people with BPD are not inherently have more empathy, but they have their emotions are much more extreme in the way, depending on how it goes about with them. If that makes sense, right?
I think it depends on the trauma responses that they responded to. I believe that it really depends on the type of trauma that you've endured. Like, for example, when it comes to certain things, like some people
Mm-hmm.
are told to bottle up their feelings, and those feelings can be bottled up, and they can be put into a nice big boiler almost in your head, where everything is just in your head. You can't express any sort of emotion or anything like that. You turn yourself cold. I know it sounds stupid, but you're basically trying to protect yourself and trying to protect what you think is inherently bad when showing emotion isn't bad. And if you haven't already like learned that showing emotion isn't bad, you should probably learn it because it'll kick you in the ass when you get to that stage.
Mm-hmm. So, do you want to talk about at least things that you're comfortable about, or things that you're comfortable about, major wise, that you
I'm
think sparked and started certain things, right?
Um, yeah, I'm comfortable with it. Like, I don't mind. For me, it was really the lack of love. Like, there wasn't much emotional care in my life, and
Mm-hmm.
like there were people there, but they weren't there emotionally.
Was
So
it
it created yeah, what?
did it feel more like neglect or more on the abuse side of things?
It was both.
Right.
I was neglected. Like, I was only controlled for my emotions, not necessarily for the consequences that I've
Mm-hmm.
done or that I thought I deserved. It was more that, if you were crying, that's what they wanted, not that
Yeah.
they wanted to punish you. Because normally, like, parents would be less likely to punish their child in an extreme way, but like it was more like immediate like punishment, full punishment. And if you were to cry, they didn't like that,
Yeah.
or they didn't want to see you, crying because of what they were doing. They didn't want you to like have any sort of comfort in your own tears, which kind of sucks, but um, you know, shit goes on. So for me, it definitely have to be like a more abusive and
Mm-hmm.
neglectful, which I'm not afraid to admit that that's the case. Um,
Are you afraid to feel weak?
I don't like feeling weak. I don't like feeling pathetic. I don't like it. But sometimes I do, and then I think to myself, like, I am pathetic, but then I don't know how, I don't know why, but there's a part of me that has grandiosity, and I'll get into that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Especially towards people who don't understand me, who don't bother to get me. I feel better than them in every single aspect. I feel like I'm the one who survived and they weren't the one who, survived it all. So it's like I'm better than you because I lived and you didn't,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. What
Um, go for it.
what do you think that your fear of feeling weak has ruined or burned a lot of bridges for you?
Yes, in every single aspect.
Do you regret
I
that?
try, uh, no, what's happened happened and I don't care anymore. I've realized that I'm not somebody who really deserve whatever I gotten. As much as I would like to say, that's different. I'm very self-aware that I've done things and I've said things and that I'm a piece of shit, but it doesn't really necessarily give me any sort of regret. Um, the only thing that I do like regret is not feeling the attention anymore. Um, or the affection or anything like that. it's very it's very upsetting when I feel like there's nobody around me to make me feel anything at all. Um, and when I do feel things, they're weird. It's very weird. I can't explain it, but happiness comes as confusion for me, which is something that I am fine with. I've come to terms with everything that I do feel. Um, but no, I don't regret it. I just wish that I had made some different decisions in my life. I wish I'd left people earlier. I wish I'd not met some people that I met before, but that's about it. But at the time, I only think in the present, and what happened has happened, and I don't think about the past all that often anymore. I only think about the past when it comes to feeling alone or abandoned or some things like that. When I feel like like my family has failed me or people have failed me, that's when I think on my past. So, I don't know how it is for you though. Oh, and your mic is cut out. Nice. I'm waiting for it, bro.
Oh
Oh
fuck.
shit.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, you got it. Yep.
Am
There
I
you go.
good? Okay. No, what I was asking you, I don't know why. I think it's I have really bad wire management. It's too many inputs for my computer. Um,
Oh, you're good.
no, what I was gonna ask before I talked is, do you hold resentment for people?
Resentment.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
people that hurt
I
you.
do.
Do you think you'd ever be able to forgive them, or do you think that resentment will always stay?
I'll never forget. I'll never forgive some people. It's just, it's something that I'll never come to um light about. I'll never forgive anybody who's hurt me. I don't talk to people who've hurt me.
Hmm.
And if I have, it's because I want something,
Like
whether
a
it be
like a benefit.
an yeah, a benefit or a need to destroy them in some
Hmm.
way, somehow, whether it be emotionally. I feel like it's most easy to destroy people emotionally, and I feel like it's the most effective because people kill themselves over their emotions. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Would you ever do that to someone who never inherently deserved it, at least personally to you? Or do you not try to? Let me rephrase it that way. Is it
Do I
not,
not try to?
yeah, or is it not intentional? You know what I mean?
To a degree, it can be unintentional,
Yeah.
and to a degree, it can't be because like I hate a lot of people. I don't trust people,
Hmm.
and I don't necessarily like people. It's very hard for me to trust anybody, and it's got to take a very decently long time for me to trust anybody at all.
Yeah.
And like even during a month, and if they cross my back, that's like it's like game on for me, pretty much.
Yeah. Do you do you always wonder how someone would use you or hurt you when you meet them?
Um,
Or is that
I haven't really been thinking of it right now because I haven't met a lot of people.
right?
Haven't talked to people that much, but when I did, it was very much like an on guard thing. I never let my guard down, and one of my fears is being vulnerable. So when it comes to things like that, I'm always thinking about what worse things could happen, like whether it be me being exposed for something that I've said or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, you're fucking
I
kidding me.
wouldn't like the fact that they would do something like that, and I'm always going to be prepared to either do something back to them or get away from it.
Mm-hmm. Would you how so you let me figure out how to ask this. You have some people that you talk to that you consider friends or mutuals, right?
Your mic cut out?
Can you hear me still?
Oh yeah, consider. Okay,
Okay.
we're good.
Do you? I need to fix that at some point. I genuinely don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
dude, it's an OBS, bro. I'm not even gonna. I don't even worry about it anymore. But do you have friends or people that you consider mutuals or acquaintances, and what or however term you feel free to use, right? Would
Hmm.
you would you say that a big point for you to gaining those people is having to get past that obstacle, if you consider an obstacle of wondering
Being
what they
vulnerable.
yeah wondering what they want from you or how you owe them after, right?
I believe that there to a degree can be a loophole for some things. If we have a lot of similarities and we know like we have like some of the same issues, it can be pretty easy to connect with them because all in all, some people like that really just have a big fear of being hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's the biggest fear out of everybody, especially cluster bees. So I think that it can be very easy to be vulnerable as long as they're vulnerable. Like if they're not gonna be vulnerable, I don't normally act vulnerable.
Yeah,
I um use different names, things like that, because I don't trust people and I don't trust their intentions.
right. Is that, would you consider you do that for everybody or specific people?
I think I do it for people who I don't know. I think
Right.
specific people, it's a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
And if I know them for a long time, I come very very close to saying things that sometimes shouldn't be said,
Like in a mean way, in a way that would
either
come
in a
off.
mean way or just a dark and brooding thought.
Okay. Yeah. Do you feel sorry for that or no? Or you're
Feel
just
sorry for what?
for saying those things around them?
No, it's not something that I care about because I
Right.
know at the end of the day they're still gonna be my friend unless I say something that, you know, truly, truly
Yeah.
like will bother them. But even then, like I still wouldn't care if I lost them or not. I don't believe in like a win-lose situation. It's more like a win-win for me.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I argue with people, everything becomes a win-win for me because I enjoy the arguments.
Dude, rage baiting. So sorry, my bad. Fucking.
I don't like okay. In a lot of aspects, I don't like the term rage baiting
You don't?
it because it like it's more than what it seems in a lot of aspects. Because people genuinely get mad and get frustrated and get everything about it. And it being like watered down to just rage bait or like a TikTok term makes it seem so stupid. Like there should be a better term for it
Dude, I
other
don't.
than rage baiting.
I mean, I think baiting is just like the original term at that point. Like
Baiting,
it's literally just baiting. I'm pretty sure.
something like that. But
I,
it's just rage baiting. It's a very like it's very memeish in a lot of aspects, and I feel
mm-hmm.
like it shouldn't be because I mean there are a lot of people who clearly like fall for things and then get really really emotional about it, like
Yeah.
overly emotional, and some things like that are like a form of cyberbullying more than anything,
Yeah, I get that.
which I don't give a shit about, but like oh hold on,
What, you're
it's
good?
just more like I believe that it should be uh, a reasonable like term. Like it shouldn't be watered down like everything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
Everything becomes watered down to a degree
yeah, no,
and
I
either
get that.
normalized.
Yeah, no, I get that. This guy's easy. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's a, I think a lot of experiences you'll hear from a lot from people with cluster Bs are not inherently the same specific situations, but they're similar in the premise, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah,
You
of
know,
course.
and I think, and if we, because I've asked you a lot of questions, but but
Yeah.
but I think at least starting, if you're done, I should say, I
Yeah.
think I mean, fuck me. Get this fucker off my ass. Thank you.
I got
Um,
you.
dude, I was fucking stuck in a corner. Um, but I think, because at least where I grew, I think it genuinely did start with my environment in general, of where I
Yeah.
came from. I originally, I was born, growing up in the human trafficking capital, one of the human trafficking capitals of the world, and drug trafficking capitals of the world. And it may seem very unrelated, but in those scenarios, in those environments, there is no trust, no matter who you're
There's
with.
no safety. You grow into the paranoia
Right.
of,
And
you know,
of who you're
it might be
around.
you one day.
Right. And who you're around. It's there's no there's no safety or safety net that you have, especially when you're around people who are also involved in it, right?
Yeah.
And people that are. And when I was young, um, I had to see a lot of it, firsthand. Unfortunately, like kind of an L. And
Yeah.
when I was like, for example, like when I was 9 or 8, was my first experience seeing someone die. Right, they
Right.
were shot and killed, like right in my front yard, in front of my house, and I remember everything very vividly. Right, because he fell down and they fucking mag dumped his ass. I'm gonna be real with you, right? And
Mm.
I mean, it was overkill. I mean, like it's like I mean, absolutely, right? Buddy was
Yeah.
downed already. It was just too much. And I think growing up in environments where murder and this sense of nobody cares for each other was very
Yeah.
damaging, starting
It
off.
it definitely helped increase a lot of the bad mindset and, thoughts that come along with growing up.
Right. And it feels like when you have to grow up in that environment, it's so much, you grow up and mature in such a quick
Yeah.
way that it's like a wound that heals too quick in a way. It
Yeah.
doesn't always, a bone that heals too fast might not ever be the same, right? It may not react the same way, it may not move the same. And
Yeah.
I think that's a big portion of it.
To a degree, it's like a small cut that like eventually gets infected because it's not washed out.
Right. And I've talked about this where uh, I've had conversations where it's not that you know, oh, like you got through it, but at
Hmm.
what cost did I get through it? Because I didn't beat it, I survived it.
Yeah.
There's a very big difference in that. And
Exactly.
and then my family life in general just wasn't great, right? I mean, fuck, like my dad, at the time, my dad killed people. That's what he did,
Yeah.
evidently, right? And that's how he made a lot of his money. And growing up around someone who does not, like, I mean, literally sees people as a paycheck and sees things as paychecks. He sold weapons. He did things to people that he shouldn't have. When at least
Yeah.
around me, it it makes you realize that most humans in general, most people don't have a care for you when there's
Yeah.
money involved, when there's monetary benefit. And growing
Yeah.
up through that, I began to realize that's how I need to live, is
Mm.
live by money, don't put your faith into anybody, and keep it pushing. Don't don't put your faith into nobody, don't trust nobody, and always expect that you owe them. Never take a
Yeah.
favor. You take a favor from somebody, you owe them now, right? You don't
Yep.
know what you might owe them. And I think that was something that it took me a while to understand in a way. I
Hmm.
mean, and then aside from like the basic, just getting abused and whatnot, which I think most people with trauma or disorders have, like
Yeah.
like just normal. And it's not, I don't think it's a very major thing to go over, because you can ask most people with any type of illness, they'll say the same shit. You know,
Mm.
um, I think major things. This is a dead end, kind of. is just the way that I grew up around people and the people I grew up
Yeah.
around. I grew up around killers. I grew up around drug dealers. I grew up around traffickers.
Yeah.
There are people who are getting scalped, right?
It's like it's like the environment that you grow up around, you sort of become that environment.
Right, you adapt to it. That's how you survive.
Exactly.
And this is why we mentioned, things like this are really just survival in a way. You survive
Yeah.
to the environment you're used to. Everyone around me learned how to survive, and that was stay out of everyone's business, keep it going, focus on you, right?
Yeah.
There is no saving anybody, there is no helping anybody. It's you. That's all it is, and it's all it
Yeah.
ever be. And of course, as I grew older, there's more, specifics wise, whatnot. But that's a very basic premise of what I guess ignited everything, no?
Yeah.
Um, and there's a lot, and it's little things too. I mean, I think neglect's a huge thing. I never.
Yeah. I was gonna mention to you,
What?
a lot of the things that you talk about, everybody experiences and learns the same thing in different contexts and different aspects. Like,
Right.
for example, protecting yourself and leaving yourself alone. Some people will learn it through whether it be neglect, um, being abused, any sort of abuse. You learn the same aspect every single time.
Mm-hmm.
But it really depends on what you do with the knowledge that you learned, and how much you let that sit with you. That's what determines whether you grow up to be like a good person or a decent person.
Right. And I
And I
think that.
think a lot of I
Yeah.
think a lot of us didn't really get that chance.
I think that it still goes to my point that I've said not just in this, but in general. In the
Mhm.
end, it really does depend on the person itself. You,
Yeah.
most shitty people were shitty people to begin with. Like, just to be bland, just to be honest, like that's just how it is, right?
Yeah.
At least they were shitty to begin with, and that just made it more extreme to them, right? It
Yeah.
didn't, you didn't just magically become a bad person. And I also think that a majority of people who are seen as like inherently bad, people don't want to admit that. Are they a bad person, or are they just trying to survive and defend themselves in the only way
Yeah.
they know? And I think that's where a lot of that stigma comes from, is nobody realizes that these little reactions, the way you act, the way you talk, the way you fit in, the way you move around,
Yeah.
it's how you defend yourself, and it's how you survive. It's how people learn to
100%.
survive, right? Nobody wants to admit that, because then they would have to admit everything they learned and said is wrong, right?
Yeah.
Um, and it's super interesting because and it sounds like a dickhead thing to say, but I, to a point, don't have much care for most people's trauma. I don't. Like,
For what?
just people's trauma in past in general, and I think it
Yeah.
comes from the fact that I went through so much.
Yeah.
I've been kidnapped. I have been trafficked. Uh, I've been shot. I've been stabbed. I've been left to bleed out and die.
Mhm.
I was thrown to the side by everyone around me, and nobody gave me a chance. So, a lot of people, when they speak about some of their trauma, it seems so minuscule to me that I can never quite understand how it affects them in the way that it
Yeah.
does, right? I don't,
And
I don't get it sometimes, right?
I'm gonna sit there and agree with you. I believe that even my trauma is a little bit um kind of exaggerated and ridiculous, but then I look at some things and I look at the spectrum, and there are some people who've literally just had like the smallest bit of trauma, and then they act like they've been through it all,
Right.
when they don't realize that somebody who has had you know a chronic sort of trauma where they um watch family members die left and right, and then they don't really know what to do with themselves, or they start getting hurt by people again and again. that is a little bit reasonable to me. Um, but I would say, other than that, I don't really care about other people's trauma
Hmm.
either, and I sort of invalidate it. And I think that comes from the fact that I don't really validate myself or validate my own, and I feel invalidated, so I have to push other people down to feel any
Hmm.
sort of validation, and maybe that's where part of the grandiosity comes from.
I, and a lot of the points you bring up are true. Like, uh, I mean, I was 15 when I carried my very close friend at the time's dead body out. It's
Yeah,
a different feeling when you're that young and you carry
yeah,
somebody's body out. I watched one of my childhood friends get shot and bleed out in front of me. Things
yeah.
like that change you. And it's not something you just heal from and that you talk about and you get better. And it never
No, it's
will be
not.
like that. So when people talk about what they've been through and that it was hard for them, I don't hold much empathy for that because I've been
Yeah,
through more and I'm here.
exactly.
I'm functional. Why aren't you?
Yes, exactly.
Um,
See,
yeah.
for me, I would really have to say, like, as much as it may not be extreme, I feel as if it has been extreme. I just don't know in what way. I don't know whether it's like the fact that it was a chronic, like, sort of happening of, that loneliness,
Yeah.
or the chronic, like, neglect or abuse, or whatever whatever you want to determine it to be. That is what made me change, rather than having, one big life event that completely, like, rerouted your brain. See, for me, I feel like one of the biggest events was being extorted.
Hmm. Like
Um,
long
I
term, you mean?
I
Or
wouldn't say long term, but I think the thing that happened with it was what really changed
long,
things.
yeah, like long standing effects in a way.
I didn't really process it right, but I can pretty much tell you how it went.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So I met this girl, um, because I was lonely. I met this girl, on a Omegle. Like, I was that lonely.
Okay, well, yeah, that's shitty.
That was the worst fucking
Yeah,
possible decision
that
already.
chat is
You
that
see, you see why I was talking about how I made stupid decisions?
yeah,
That was one of the
chat is
decisions.
that calm girl core.
Yes, dude. It very much is. I was with this girl.
Yeah.
It was already hectic, and whatnot. Anytime I did something wrong, she would leak anything that she had against me. Um,
Wrong as in what?
Wrong in her standards,
And her fucked up
and
little standard, basically.
yeah, and believe it or not, she also has BPD, so there's no fucking
Yeah, no,
surprise.
women with BPD are typically not the grandiose of women. They're not the, throne.
Yeah. Hmm. And I basically trusted her, and she cheated on me a lot. First of all,
Was it so?
um,
Was it always an online relationship, or was it a IRL? Just
it
a
was it was online,
okay.
but
No,
even on
yeah, no, I was wondering because you said Omegle, and I didn't know if like y'all were close or not.
yeah,
Okay.
even online, things can be extreme, and some things need to be brought into light about it. For example, basically what happened is she met some these people, and I got extorted by proxy. Basically what happened was they pretty much found out about my family, found out about everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and basically one night I was playing Warzone with, like, by myself, and um they basically texted me on what I presume to be her friend's Snapchat. Um and it wasn't her friend, it was somebody else, it was somebody completely different. And turns out they basically told me, hey, like, this is pretty funny, I'll make yourself throw up for a second, like keep doing it, or not keep doing it, but they were like, you should make yourself throw up, I think it'd be pretty funny. I was like, so my dumbass did it anyway. And I guess whenever they figured out that I was capable of doing such a thing, they took advantage of that. I basically stayed up that night throwing up for them, giving them proof that I had vomited in my trash can. And I did that till 7 a.m. in the morning, and that's when they told me I could stop. Um, I think that's part of me being naive, and that's why I hate part of myself, is because I let me being naive get the best of me. And part of me blames myself for the thing that happened. But that's not even the end of it. I had to do it for almost the whole week straight. No breaks. And I guess they made my girlfriend ill, but only to take my place for the day because I had to do some things.
How long were you with
But
her?
part of me didn't believe it. 7 months.
Okay. And how old were you? Did you
I
reach
was
14?
14.
14? Oh, that's a ooh. Yes.
Like 13 to 14.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I pretty much like brought it close to being extorted and tortured because I feel as if that's what happened.
Now I know this is serious, but was she ugly?
Yeah, what's up? Yeah, she wasn't the best looking, and I
Okay,
don't know
so
what
so
the
you
fuck
so
I
you
was
so,
thinking.
so you didn't even get like extorted for with a benefit, you know? Kind of got
Yeah,
extorted
exactly.
with. Really? Damn.
Bullshit, dude.
Dude, that's kind of crazy. I had a decently similar situation, relationship wise, I should say. Like,
Yeah.
not exact scenario, obviously, but in the same area. Um, I got on with this girl, and so first red flag is that I met her on Snapchat, all right.
Yeah.
But like you have to understand, like Snapchat, right? Back, let me do the math. Right, 2020. Wait, so 2020, like Snapchat was like a different era, right?
Yes, dude.
Oh,
That's that
dude.
that era in 2020 was probably the worst era ever. That's when it happened to me.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, but yeah, nonetheless, 2020 like internet was just a bad era. Um, and I'd met her, blah blah. We had talked for a few months, and dude, you know what's crazy? I say not to judge people with mental illnesses. I'm judging women with BPD. I don't give a fuck. Okay.
Oh yeah, dude. I
So
feel
I'm just saying,
so.
it's happening.
I just wanna point this out. There's a great saying from Marie. And it goes by rules for thee, not for me. I always stick by that because I'm the biggest hypocrite ever, and that's the best way I can put it.
Hmm.
It's just the
I
rules for them, but not for me.
so the thing is, right? We met,
Uh huh.
blah blah, and she was one of those people that would talk and they would lure you in by being nice, right? It's that it's that
By
hook
being what?
by being nice. They lure you
Yeah.
in any way they possibly can. Can this fucker? Sorry, stand by. Um, you take
Yeah.
my kill, bro.
No.
Yeah, you did. Anyways, but she did like one of those, and I was way so far. I was like 16.
Hmm.
Wait, 4 years? Yeah, 16, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and so I guess it was 2021. That's my bad. In that region. But we had started talking and blah blah.
Hmm.
Uh, Mind you, at that point, I hadn't really had like any real relationships. You know what I mean? I kind of fucked around
Yeah.
a bit, but never anything real. So it was like my first one, and it was one of those times where I decided to at least try and open up, try and be vulnerable,
Yeah.
and it started off by like little things that she would she would lash out for no reason. She would start arguments, things of that such, right?
Hmm.
And anything that happened, it would always be me being twisted into the bad person, right?
Yeah.
No matter what happened, no matter what, she could blatantly be in the wrong, and it went from cheating to just to fuck verbal abuse into like physical abuse, right? And it delved
Yeah.
into the area of just rape. So like I mean, we went from like 0 to 100, right?
Hmm.
Not very like cool, in my opinion,
Yeah.
but and it really just it was exponential, right, in the way it was.
Yeah.
Uh, and it really set off and this was a relationship that ended once and got back together. So it's kind of so it's already kind of like not good
Yeah.
anyways. It's one of those. And hold on, stand by. And it ended off her asking me basically like, hey, let's go to this place, whatever, right, with her friend. And and it was this little like trap house or whatever. And I was like, yeah, sure. So what happened was she had waited until I was like shit-faced drunk, and I mean fucking blackout, right?
Yeah.
And then started a huge fucking argument. I mean, fucking huge. And then basically, she basically get the fuck out, whatever. It was like 10ish p.m.
Yeah.
Right? Nighttime. It was raining, whatever. So as I was leaving, this like red car had this like it drove to the next to me and slammed on their brakes. So you already know like, hey, this probably is not a good idea, like of what's gonna happen. Like this is not leading to anything good. And I just texted one of my homeboys like, yo, blah blah. I met so and so, whatever. And that's right when I hung up. They had pulled up, and it was 4 different people. They jumped the fuck out of me, stabbed me, and then pulled a gun on me and brought me back to the house. And back at the house, they had a motherfucker who was like no shit, bro. Built like fucking Dwayne the Rock fucking Johnson, okay, height and weight wise. I mean, it was fucking right. And that motherfucker choke slammed the fuck out of me. I'm not gonna lie. And I still didn't really know what was going on at the time because number one, I was drunk. And so, and mind you, I'm still bleeding. I'm still fucking bleeding to this day, or not to this day, but at that point.
Right.
And at some point, this saint of a lady, by the way, like distracted them. My mic so good? Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah. She distracted them and kind of like motioned for me to just fucking leave, right? So like, regardless, I don't fuck with most people, but I do like, I do truly owe her because I don't know what would have happened, like truly.
Yeah.
And I just fucking ran. I don't know, this moment of sobriety hit, and I just fucking ran.
Yeah.
I'd gotten the cops called on me by somebody and whatnot. I was slammed to the ground, blah blah. That was the moment I realized that I could never that moment I truly realized that I could never and will never put my trust or faith into anybody in a relationship ever, specifically relationships, because she also still tried to twist it into my fault that happened. I just want to,
Oh wow.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I mean when I say she would do anything to make it my fault.
Yeah. See, now we can go back to the thing that I said where, whatever happened to, what did people learn and what's happened to them comes in different versions, but it comes out the same exact way. And I think that's where we, as people with mental illness and specifically cluster B people unite.
Yeah, and I think while there is a lot of, some tension between certain groups with cluster B, fucking BPD, but some some stigmas I might believe in with certain people. We can discuss that, but not gonna get anywhere with it.
No.
You can call me a fucking BPD racist, okay?
Right.
And but like on a real note, yeah, I think that a lot of people don't realize how similar it is, right?
Yeah.
And this
big time.
This is another point I did want to bring up. I made a joke earlier about BPD kind of being the golden child.
Yeah.
Which, jokes aside, is just kind of right.
Yeah,
you see
it's
the
coddled.
yeah,
I'm not gonna
you
sit
see
here and like.
you see the stigma of it versus
Mhm.
everything else, and people forget that it's in the same cluster for a reason.
Yeah.
You share so many symptoms. You
And the thing is, like, when you split on somebody or you go through any sort of like emotion,
yeah.
you start to become criteria of other disorders.
Mm-hmm. Do you
So
go on?
what's
Go
up?
on. No, no, go on. Go on. Go on.
So for people to sit there and say that you know, ASPD and NPD are bad, is very like it's very hypocritical because they become part of that cluster in a lot of aspects, but it really depends on the situation and the environment.
Do you need money, by the way, on a side thing?
Oh, no, I think I'm good.
Okay. No, yeah. I mean,
Well, in my case, that's what I believe. That's what I definitely believe.
I think that I think this might be a very, I mean, very fucking hot take to talk about. I
Yeah,
do think BPD is such a coddled and golden child of mental disorders is mainly due to the fact BPD is more or less mostly found in women more than men.
yeah,
And it's a very interesting thing to talk about. As we know, men's mental health is just not a very well you know, what's the word, it's not very well in the spotlight, and it's very
no,
much neglected in a way.
yeah,
And you know, and regardless, by the way, I fucking hate everybody who says like, "Oh, who made that system?" Not me, bitch. Not fucking me. Let me tell you,
yeah,
it was people in the 1930s. But nonetheless, right? Um, and BPD is so common with women. I don't remember the like percentage, but I know it's very common.
it is.
That women's mental health is very fucking taken care of. So when you have
Yeah,
it
it
with
is.
women, it is taken much more lightly than how it would be taken with a man.
Yeah,
When you think of BPD in a woman, you think, damn, I'm getting fucked up. You are going to think of a woman who, at least in what most media portrays, is a woman who's been traumatized and hurt and just wants to be helped and protected, right? Someone who
yeah,
is very emotional and only wants to love. We talk about things like this. That is a very
mhm,
common stigma. When you look at any man who has any cluster B, and I mean fucking any, you are seen as an abuser, an evil person, I don't know, serial killer. That one gets thrown in here and there. You get
yeah,
seen as a threat to society and a fucking outcast. That's all you'll ever be seen as. Because nobody will trust you. Nobody will look at you the same. Nobody will ever look at you as human. You'll always be something different to them. Right?
yeah,
And I think we talked about this like a few weeks ago. I've you know, you people talk about some stupid shit like narc abuse or like dealing with people with so and so. You
yeah,
the same quote unquote pattern recognition that you talk about is the same fucking shit people use with gays and people of color back then. Same
yeah,
fucking thing. Same, you are spreading the same fucking ideas as groups like that. You're just
it's yes,
switching. You're just switching who it's against because it's socially
yeah,
acceptable, and I
yep,
fucking hate that. It bothers me, and I think that's the biggest issue, and I think that's why BPD is so catered towards you know in real life and like social media. I think it's such a big
yeah,
fucking problem, and people don't want to talk about that. People don't want to admit that the fact that it's a mainly female-based mental disorder, that that's the reason why it's not fucking demonized like everybody else. Because they're
and
fucking similar. They fucking overlap.
there's
Like,
this, and the thing about it is, you have people who call it a beautiful princess disorder, which is completely and utterly like pushing that narrative that it's coddled, and I hate that. I really do,
right.
because when you see men go through the same disorder, it's a completely different spectrum. And I don't know if it's because of the disorder or it's because you're just a man, because there's a lot of there's a big gender war going on already between men and women, and which I think is completely and utterly stupid. But I believe just putting putting BPD in a sentence as the same as like man is very demonized already because of the fact that you are a man, and it can be like it can either be like a masculine thing or a feminine thing. It all comes down to like how people perceive men to be, and men have already been demonized enough, and I don't think that you know men, especially with disorders already, should be demonized. If you get what I mean. I think you cut out. I don't know.
Hello?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
okay.
here.
Dub it. Alright. My mic fell. I almost died. Can you hear me fine?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay. No, I mean, I think a lot of it is due to the stigma that men, I feel like what is a truth is they are, but I also don't even know if this is because men are so forced to be quiet about things. Men tend to be
Yeah.
a lot more angry in their
Yeah.
outbursts, physically, and it's just it's not a sexist thing to say. It's just how it is. I mean,
Yeah.
men are more
It's what
aggressive.
it is what everybody, even older men say,
Right.
they think it's, acceptable to bring their rage into physical forms. Like, and in a lot of ways it's not acceptable, and I think older men realize that some of the things that they say and some of the things that they think are acceptable aren't acceptable standards for either the DSM-5 or um society in general. Ah, shit. I'm getting fucked up right now. I'll be good though. Yeah, I died. But I mean, like I said, I don't know if it's because, there's a lot of misandry and misogyny going on between us, but I feel like that is the main thing that really adds on to all the demonization, even in cluster B disorders. Also, I think your mic cut out again.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're here.
Yeah, hey, if my mic cuts out, keep talking.
Oh, okay, I
Just
got you.
literally keep talking. Anyways, um, yeah, I don't know why it does. I really need to fix this. It goes out for no reason. But no, I mean, I think I don't really care too much about about.
I think cut out again.
Hello?
Yep, you're here.
Like I said, keep talking if my mic cuts out, please.
Okay, I got you.
Okay, thank you. I need to fix it. I don't know why. It's an OBS problem. But no, I mean, I don't really care for the whole issues between genders. Can I be real with you? It doesn't bother me.
And
It doesn't affect
yeah,
me.
I agree. I believe I like this is one thing that I've already talked about before. My image, to a degree, my image really doesn't matter, but I think it really depends on my favorite persons. where my image really stands. And part of me preserving my image
Oh, dude, there's
really
low
comes
gravity,
with.
by the way. Hold on, jump.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, dude.
Oh wow.
Yeah, go on.
My image really doesn't matter, especially towards other people. Anybody can call me crazy, but then again, I've had certain, favorite persons who've called me crazy, and I felt, greater than ever about it. I don't know why, but I think it's either an acceptance or a validating thing for me.
Is there any scenario or any situation that you think, I don't want to use the word,
Yeah. You don't want to use what word? I mean, I might be able to tell you. I don't know though. But yeah. You let me know. Also, your mic is cut out again. I'm trying to keep talking though. Uh, yeah. Talk. You here? Okay. He's not here.
yo, what the fuck?
Okay, there you go.
Okay, dude, I don't know why it's doing it so much now. It didn't do it literally for like over an hour. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay. Is there any situation where what triggers you more than anything, right? That's what I was asking.
I'd have to really think about it.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't just have to be a situation, it can be anything, right? You know, or like a
Yeah.
feeling and whatnot, right?
So for me, a lot of the times, it could be like, it could be something like perceiving like abandonment or some
Mm-hmm.
sort of rejection.
Yeah.
That is something that I really struggle with. I feel like, because I believe that some people want to leave, but then there's also you know a fear of me being controlled. So when I perceive that somebody's trying to control the environment or the situation, that's something that I will not stand for. I will do everything in my power to make sure I am not controlled, and I am, over, what the fuck?
What?
That I am over, I'm basically over, I'm overpowering you.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I hate you, or not because I, don't care for you or don't love you. I don't feel comfortable with being controlled, because
Yeah.
when I'm controlled, there are things that, become very encapsulating for me. I don't feel free. I don't feel like I have any choices. I feel as if I'm just in the same box I was before. I feel like I was I it feels like I'm in the same relationship with the person who I was talking about, if that makes sense. Like I'm back in that, you know, solitary confinement, and I really will not let that happen again. I won't let myself be hurt again, and I won't let myself be hurt by anybody. I won't let myself be controlled. I won't let them leave, and I won't be vulnerable. But then again, some things like that make it very hard for me to um, be in relationships, which sometimes I've come to terms with, and then sometimes I'm like, damn, I really wish I was with a girl right now, or I wish I had some sort of affection, and I don't. And that's okay.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
I really need to figure. I don't know. I seriously don't know what the fuck is going on with that shit, dude. It's happened like 5 times at least in the past like 10 minutes.
Mhm.
I seriously don't know what actually just happened, but it's probably an input issue. I honestly probably just fucked up my OBS. I haven't realized that,
Yeah.
but but no, I mean, I kind of relate in a similar way. Like, I fucking hate not being in control of anything. It tweaks me the fuck out, you know.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know. I can't deal with the thought of not being in control, you know.
Yeah.
And what the fuck, man?
Because I feel like when you lose control, you lose all parts of yourself that you built up to protect.
Right. I also I think I realized what's wrong. Can you hear me?
Maybe we can fix it. Oh yeah, I can hear.
I think I figured out what's wrong, by the way.
Okay.
So I plan on my controller right now, and I think having my controller plugged in with my keyboard like completely fucks the output and input for some reason.
Okay.
Low key, let me try it. Keep talking for 2 seconds because it might fuck this. It might fuck
I
it
got
for
you.
like 2 seconds. So
All right.
stand by.
But
Okay, wait. Can
yeah.
you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay. Sorry. Technical fucking issues. First episode, technical issues. Come on, chat. W. Based. Come on now. So, anyways, I unplugged my keyboard. We'll see how that fixes it. It should fix it. But no, I mean, you can still hear me, right? I'm nervous that you're not able to anymore.
Yeah. Now I can hear.
I feel like a woman with attachment issues. Oh my god. But no, I mean, I think the thought of having no control over a situation is scary in a way. You know, it's not nice to feel like that and know that you don't have that control, you know?
Yeah.
It sucks to say that, and people will look at you in a way because of that. But it's like one of those things where it's like, I don't think you had an experience where you truly had no control then if you don't understand that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And like I said, bro, I believe that once you lose control, you lose control of yourself.
Mm-hmm. I think when you have
control,
it's
of
no
your image.
It's no order.
Yeah, you lose your control of your image. You lose control of, them not, them like not leaving. Like once you realize that like you have a lot to lose, then you're kind of like, if I don't have control, then I really have nothing at all.
Mm-hmm. And yo, by the way, this is a complete side note. Completely just winging this fucking episode with like mic issues is such a baller move. Like, can we?
Yeah.
Do you know what's weird though? Is I don't know if my OBS like captured my audio when you couldn't hear me.
It might have not. I don't know, but
I have to check later. I'm not
So
I'm not gonna check. I'm just gonna fucking raw dog it. But no, I mean like, I think what is so weird with feeling out of control in any way is that it feels like you're fighting at that point with yourself and with everything around you. It doesn't matter what you're doing, you feel out of control until you truly have. What the fuck is this? Okay, wait. Sorry, what the fuck? Until you truly feel, like, until you truly have that control over what every single buddy does, what everybody thinks, it doesn't feel okay. You don't feel alright. You know? You don't feel like get the fuck out of my way, you naked bitch.
It's like at any moment they could do anything and you can't do anything about it.
Right. And it's also a fear if they have more control, right? If they have more control over you, and that's a fucking problem that I think a lot of people have, you know?
Yeah.
And I can't zoom in like that. Oh fuck. I do think another big, fucking huge issue is the constant feeling of how to prepare to be hurt, how to prepare to defend yourself, no matter how close you are, no matter how long you've talked to the person. And I'm not sure if you feel that way, but that feeling of having like you have to prepare just to do anything, right? You could, they could have fucking saved your life, right? And you would still prepare in some way if something happened. It doesn't, and I feel like a lot of people don't get that, where no matter
how, like
yeah.
a form of retaliation or a form of comfort towards yourself, you always have to have some sort of safety net.
Right, and it feels like you have to have a backup plan. Do that, you know? Hey, by the way, I just fucking punched this fucking robot to death.
All right, give me 1 second, real fast.
I got you.
Okay, I'm back. I got interrupted. But what did you say? Wait, did your mic cut out or no? Or you just not talking? Because I'm not too sure.
Shutting down any second now. Wave 5.
Still alive? Bravo. I would shake your hands, but I shall just eviscerate you instead.
Can you hear me? Can I get a mic check?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also okay. So maybe the keyboard trick didn't work. I don't know what's wrong. But speaking of everything, and amongst all the fucking technical issues, we've covered almost a good amount of shit this episode. Are we fucking with that, chat? I think it's good to.
Did you stop? Wait, did you stop recording or no?
No. I think it's good to call it a episode, man. Genuinely.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, dude, I fuck with that. So tune in. We'll have a new episode every week, y'all. Y'all have a great day.